Make sure to be a member on the channel, link is in the description. Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Let's talk about the MiG-25 again. So first of all, let's thank our members, Astro, Pvo, Patrick, Silami, Vivi, Balestra, and thank you Lafush for the second month of being a member. Thank you, it helps a lot. You have no idea how much it helps. Make sure to be a member if you want to help the channel, subscribe, and let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about, based on the post that Epicblitzkrieg actually did on the MiG-25, let's talk about a little bit of its variants and why some variants should not be added and why you have probably the wrong idea about the MiG-25. So we have two main variants of the aircraft. We have the interceptors and we have the reconnaissance variants. The Pvo, which is the Air Force for interception that the Soviets had, wanted an interceptor, and the VVS, which is the normal Air Force for fighters and attackers and stuff like that, wanted a reconnaissance aircraft. So they made two variants of this aircraft starting in 1969. So let's talk a little bit about the Pvo variants first, the interceptors. We have basically three variants. So we have the P, the PD, and the PDS. So yeah, remember the aircraft is very effective at going very fast. So first of all, let's just talk about some misconceptions of these aircraft. Let's talk about some myths that he has. It doesn't overheat, okay? A lot of people say that it overheats, even though a lot of documents say that the Soviets used past beyond Mach 3, the reconnaissance variants. They can go past Mach 3 over the Middle East, and they never had any problems overheating. There is a very good book that I have from Gordon's, I think it's called, that talks about it, the situations in Egypt. The G limits, 4.5 Gs, nah mate. I mean, this is an operational limit, okay? Because the wingtips flex too far if they go past beyond that in certain situations. Just remember that the MiG-23 has the same limit as 8.5, but in War Thunder it can go up to 14, 15 Gs, okay? With low fuel and stuff like that. The F5 in real life cannot pull 15 Gs. So remember, there's 2 points in the turning capabilities of an aircraft. First of all, War Thunder is a game, so you have to consider that first of all. Just always remember that. An aircraft like the F5, like the MiG-23, they are always overperforming. They're always overperforming because it's a game, not a simulator like TCS. That's not the objective of War Thunder, so always consider that. And the second thing is that being a game, you don't have these operational limits. So an aircraft like the F-14 had a 6.8 G limit. Even, I mean, I think it's the only the A variant. Maybe the later variants had other limits, and even the F-18 had, I think it's 9 G of operational limit. And what that means, it depends on the aircraft, it depends on the doctrine of the aircraft, it depends on many things. But it's just a matter of making sure that these aircraft don't crash, okay? And not putting your pilots at risk. So the idea of putting a limit like 4.5 G in a MiG-25, it doesn't mean that the aircraft cannot go past beyond that. There's records of them going up to 11 Gs, and once even damaging the aircraft a bit with 11.5 Gs. So it is an aircraft that can outstand a lot of Gs, but they have these limits for operational use, because this is an interceptor, not a dogfighter. They're not going to go to those Gs just because they want to, you know. If they don't need to, they won't go, because the MiG-25 is made for intercepting, so it will just go fast. In War Thunder, it probably could pull 7, 8 Gs, maybe even a little bit better, you know. But in real life, as I said, it could withstand 11 Gs, 11.5 Gs, so damaging the aircraft, obviously, but it's just like the MiG-23. Do you think after a 14 G turn in a MiG-23 they wouldn't take a look on the aircraft to see if it's damaged, or even an F-14 with the 12, 13 Gs that it can pull, do you not think that they would, I mean, they would take a look on the aircraft? They always do that, you know, it's a doctrine thing. If they pull more Gs than the operational limit is, they will take a look on the aircraft to see if there is damage, because there's many factors in real life that there is not in a game. So always consider that. So the 4.5 G limit is just, it's not that low. It's going to be lower than all the other aircraft in the game, but it's just like an F-104, you know. I think, to be honest, it can turn better than an F-104, but still, because I don't remember seeing the F-104 being able to pull more than 8 Gs or something like that, but I might be wrong. I don't remember. But still, the MiG-25 is one of the most maneuverable aircraft at supersonic speeds, especially past Mach 2. Okay, so it is very, very, very good at doing that, at going fast and turning at those speeds. Okay, so always remember that. It is not. I mean, it is a bus. It's a very heavy aircraft and stuff like that, but it has a very, very high acceleration, very, very fast climb rate. Climb rate can be 205 meters per second, so very good. Very, very good roll rate, very high service ceiling, up to 20,000 meters, so more than 60,000 feet. Very good at any of that. Max speed is past beyond 3,000 kilometers per hour. Even the early variant could go Mach 3.6 if they really want to. There is a record of them doing that with an interceptor variant, but there was a problem beyond Mach 3.2, Mach 3.3 of the canopy actually starting to melt. So they decided to put another operational limit. So it's not that the aircraft cannot go there. It's just like the vegan cannot pull so many Gs, or because it has compressor stalls, or even the F-14 does that, or the MiG-23 with its limit on operational usage at sea level with 1,400 kilometers per hour of max speed IAS because of compressor stalls as well. So there's so many limits that are not accepted in War Thunder. So a lot of people like to talk about the MiG-25 like it's just a bad aircraft, but they look with a microscope with every single limit that the MiG-25 had. But all the other aircraft that are already added, they don't do that. So consider that if Gaijin actually add this aircraft, it will be flyable. It will be. I don't know if it's going to be meta. We don't know, but still going to be very, very good. And the last thing that I want to talk about the MiG-25 in general is its low altitude speed. Even though the operational limit of the aircraft is around 1,300, 1,400 in the deck, which is already very fast, with a very, very good acceleration that it has. It could go up to 1,500, but didn't test that because it was too dangerous to do that. So, yeah, 1,400 would be the limit, maybe a little bit more. So it will be similar to the MiG-23, and that's one of the fastest aircraft in the deck that we have. I mean, the F-14 can go a little bit faster, but so every single limit that you see, I mean, it's complicated, you know. According to the manual, the MiG-25 is capable of up to 1,445 kilometers per hour at sea level, or Mach 1.17. So when the aircraft is light and stuff. So yeah, there's these limits of just understanding the aircraft and stuff like that. It's just to prevent such some accidents to happen, you know. In 1967, for example, there was a death of a test pilot doing time to speed records and stuff like that. So they, they have to consider that, and in War Thunder, this is not a factor. So, with everything like that out of the way, I will introduce you to all the variants of the MiG-25. So, as I said, the Pvo variants, we have three variants, the P, the PD, and the PDS. The P variant has its early batch of 1969 and its later batch with 1971. The main thing about this aircraft, I don't think this should be added, okay? the P variant. Doesn't have pulse Doppler, even though it has a very good range of about 100 kilometers of against bomber-sized targets of detection range with the radar. Doesn't have look down, shoot down properly, even though it has uh, technically a completely immune radar to ground clutter at around 500 meters upwards. So even though it's not a pulse Doppler radar, very effective, just like the MiG-23 is. But yeah, the main problem with this aircraft, with the P variant, is that the R-40Rs and the R-40Ts are not the most effective missiles ever. They have very small range of 30 and 36 kilometers to the T and the R respectively. Jesus. Uh, and it's just not that good, you know. I mean, it has around 24 Gs of turning capabilities, but it is just problematic in some areas to actually use that many Gs, you know. It's just one of those missiles that will be used in the early things when you are researching the aircraft, you know. But as I said, no cannon, the SPO-10, not the greatest RWR, it doesn't have flares or chaff. It is the slowest variant of the MiG-25s and stuff. It is just not that good, you know. It is very, very capable if we had more early 70s aircraft, you know, like an F-4E without flares and chaff, or even the F-14, but you know, without maybe the AIM-7F or something like that, with the AIM-9H and the AIM-7E4, I don't know, something like that. This would be acceptable, but without flares, without a pulse Doppler radar, without very good missiles, it doesn't have the capabilities of R-60s and stuff like that, so it's just not that good, okay? Obviously because of the Victor Belenco's, what's it called? Defection to Japan with a MiG-25P made the Soviets actually improve the MiG-25. So in 1976, they had the idea of putting a new radar and stuff like that based on many things about the MiG-23. So the first thing is the RP-25M, which is the detection range can be around 115 kilometers, 120 against bomber-sized, with a tracking rate of 80 kilometers. So very, very capable radar. With fighters could be around 80 to 90 kilometers of detection and 60 kilometers with its tracking rate. Range, so in low altitudes it can be less than that, 30, 40 kilometers depending on the situation. So yeah, very effective radar, especially because it is pulse Doppler now, or at least MTI is very hard to find information about it, but it has, so it is has a very, very good radar, similar to, I mean, it's like at least 50 to 60% better than MiG-23's radar, for example, so very good radar. Another thing is obviously they change a little bit from the early Ps to the Ps, and then for the PDs they changed some of the other stuff like the RWR. The R40s received the seeker of the RGS-24 taken from the R-24R. So the missile is way better. It's basically an R-24R with 60 kilometers of range. That's better than the AIM-7F. So to be honest, it will be a missile probably better than AIM-7F, and it has the capabilities of using the R60s and R60Ms. Has the IRST now; it's the first one that has it. Has data link, has GCI capabilities of using the data link to actually guide the aircraft and stuff like that. So it is just a very, very, very capable aircraft. I think the normal loadout would be 4 R60s Ms and together with 2 R40Rs or R40Ts, you know, would be similar to a MiG-23, but with better radar missiles and a better radar, more speed, very high acceleration, everything else that you know and love about the MiG-25. You know, the capabilities in turning is not the best thing ever, but still very capable and very good. The climb rate could be around 210 meters per second. The acceleration is just amazing. So it is not a bad aircraft, okay? It doesn't have a cannon. Alright, get used to it. I mean, there's a lot of aircraft in the future that will have. A MiG-29, for example, only has 150 rounds with one cannon, 30 millimeter. Why is that? because you normally won't use a cannon. So they try to make a cannon that it's not using too much weight and stuff like that. Aircraft, the farther the future you go, the less a cannon will be effective. Even though it's nice to have it, I mean, I would love to see a MiG-25 with a cannon, but you know, you know how it is. So, yeah, this is the PD variant. As you heard, I don't know if they actually use the chaff or flare dispensers of the PvP 5060. The PDS variant could be that, especially with the SPO 15. There was one variant of the PDS that actually used the SPO 15, which the BDOs or RWR. But there is not much information about the PD variant having the flares and chaff, but the PDS had, and it has all the same stuff that the PD received. It's basically a P converted to PD standard, you know. So yeah, this would be the variant that we should see in War Thunder. No other variant, to be honest. Only if you want to put an event vehicle like the P, could be an event vehicle or a premium, I don't know. There are some weird premiums out there. But in general, I think the main thing is the PD and the PDS. So, as I said, 1,400 kilometers, maybe a little bit more of low speed max, close to, I mean, Mach 3 capable, kind of, 3,000 kilometers per hour. It's not Mach 3, it's like Mach 2.8, but still. Max speed, very good fast mean climb rates, 2008 meters per second, very good roll rate, very high acceleration, IRST to slave missiles for sneak attack, especially with the R40T, TD, I mean. A very good radar with 100 kilometers of range, pulse Doppler, very good, R60Ms, you know. The problem is no gun, and it's still kind of a bust, a very fast aircraft, but very sluggish compared to an aircraft like a MiG-23, for example. So yeah, very good and very large target as well. So this is the variants that we should see, okay, PD or PDS. I say the PDS because it has confirmation of flares and chaff, BVP 5060, same flares and chaff that we have in the MiG-23. Not too many, but they are the large ones, so you don't have to have too many of them. Anyway, other versions that we maybe receive is the VVS variants, but to be honest, these I would not like to see as a normal vehicle, and to be honest, even in War Thunder. But I like the aircraft, and if it is added, I mean, I would get it, even if it's premium, but it is the R version, so the R, the RB, RBK, RBT, RBS, they don't change much, you know. They don't have missiles, they don't have cannons, they only have the bombs, basically, and a lot of cameras for. They were very remarkable reconnaissance aircraft, actually. They had a completely automatic system of autopilot together with GCI data link together with the navigation system, you know, and bombing system. So basically, after the pilot actually took off, you turn on everything, and just like a modern aircraft, you would have 100 kilometers to 1 kilometer uh, of precision in the navigation system with an INS and together with radar navigation. And even it dropped the bombs kind of automatically. So yeah, it was just a very remarkable aircraft for its time. But to be honest, it is a reconnaissance variant that can take some bombs, like the RB variant onwards can take some bombs, the FAB 500s and stuff like that. It could take 10 FAB 500s M2, M62, so it is very good bomber, but still it's just, I don't think it's, I mean, if it's added, I think it should be a premium or an event vehicle. I don't think it should be in the line. But if they want to add it, it is an interesting aircraft. It is the fastest version. That's why I don't think it should be added. It doesn't have flares or chaff in the normal aircraft, but it has with the SPS 141 the same pod as the SMT and the MF MiG-21s have. So you would have that, but it doesn't have cannons, doesn't have anything else. The only weapons that it can receive are the bombs and the S-24 rockets. So yeah, and the RBSH can take the BVP, but that's just it. A very very defenseless aircraft against enemy fighters, but very effective at killing you know tanks and not tanks, bases and stuff like that. That's basically it. That's why I think it should be a premium or something like that. Maybe event vehicle, as I said, something like that. But the main variant is the MiG-25P or PD. I think PD or PDS. I mean, so I just think that these aircraft should be added like that. No other version should be added, to be honest. And yeah, we are fine with that. I think a patch coming with the Tornado together with these would be sufficient. The F-14 is not the most OP thing ever, so I don't think I mean, it's that good. So a MiG-29, for example, would be just too OP. So I think, and it's just such an iconic aircraft from the Cold War that we should get it. There's a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of myths on this aircraft and a lot of people that just like to talk bad on Soviet engineering. But just remember, they built more than 1,000 of those. They built more than 5,000 MiG-23s. So when you comment on YouTube that the aircraft, oh, it's shit because it doesn't have titanium on its fuselage, it's because look how many A12s were made, or SR-71s that were completely made by titanium. And look how many MiG-25s were made. That's just the thing, you know. You have to be cheap to actually build a lot of them. And yeah, to be honest, I think the MiG-25 is one of the greatest aircraft ever made. I mean, 1969, nobody had anything comparable to this aircraft. Nobody. Just nobody, okay? So yeah, very good aircraft. And I think it's just different. I still think that we should receive more interceptors in the game in general. The F-102, the F-106 maybe. The Su-15. Su-15 is one that can carry 2 radar missiles together with 4 60s plus some cannons. So it is a very very capable aircraft as well. It will be like a GA-8 but less effective because of the radar missiles that it has. So yeah, we actually need those interceptors. They're very fun to fly and just different. And the reason that I'm not going to talk about the MiG-31 here, I'm going to probably make a video on that as well. But I don't think we should get the MiG-31 right now. I mean, it's just such a big evolution from the 25 PD or PDS to the MiG-21, the first ones. That is just, I mean, they entered in service in 1979, 1980, so it's just not. I mean, it's too OP to be honest, because of the phased array radar. I mean, it's just twice as many range as the RP-25M. So imagine an aircraft that has 200 kilometers of range on the radar that doesn't have a cycle of scanning. It basically scans almost instantaneously because of the PESA radar, together with 4 missiles that can outrange, outturn the Phoenix, so it can pull 25 Gs, which is the R-33, and it has a way more range than the Phoenix. So yeah, I think it's OP right now. Okay, it has a cannon, it has everything else, but it's just too OP right now. I don't think we need a MiG-31 right now. Maybe with better F-14s coming, yeah, MiG-31 can come. But yeah, to be honest, my personal opinion is that we need the Su-15, the MiG-20, the Su-15TM can be, the MiG-25 PD or PDS, and then we can get to the MiG-31. But we don't even have the Su-15 right now. So I don't know. Maybe Gaijin doesn't like these interceptors, but I hope they actually add these instead of the MiG-29 first, because the MiG-29 will break the game, I think, in my opinion. Okay, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Very, very effective aircraft. Very good. A lot of people talk bad about this aircraft, you know, but don't mind them. You know, it's an aircraft that can be used. Probably not going to be the most meta aircraft. Just like the F-14 came, and there's still people that prefer the J7 or the MiG-23. There's always people when a MiG-25 come, the F-14 is better, the MiG-21 is better. I don't know. There's always people talking bad about some aircraft. So, and there's people that actually learn how to fly it and will be good at it. So it depends on your personal way of flying, the personal way that you like to fly, and everything like that. But I'm not going to continue the video too much. It's already too long, in my opinion. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I see you guys on the next one. So bye guys, see you.